All right, so you guys ran down the western corridor, and there were 3 exits out of Velkenvelve: north, south, and west. You guys went west, and as you're running out, this Kuatoa, which his name is Shushar the Awakened. He has told you that his homeland, his village called Sloop is in the lake area of what is basically the Underdark. And as you guys kind of stop for just a few seconds to get a breather, you guys have all of your spell slots now, and especially with Morven, you have your spell component pouch. You're able to cast your spells. Everybody has their weapons. Everyone has their gear, all that good stuff. And you guys are continuing to push your way down the western corridors. And as you guys are running through the Underdark, I mean, this is a place that is just, I mean, you guys are miles beneath the surface. And as all of you have been brought here to the Underdark, you guys remember that the journey, as you guys were, you had a bag over your head. You don't know, you don't remember the path or the journey that you took to get to Velkenvelve, because you were bound, gagged, and basically knocked out from the drow poison anyway. But you guys are miles beneath the surface, and as like I showed you guys last week, everything is very dark, with these fluorescent light blues and dark blues and pinks, and fungi or fungi growing everywhere, mushrooms. Some mushrooms are 10 foot tall, 20, 30 foot tall. Some are small little patches on the side of the path as you guys are running along. So after about an hour, we'll say after about an hour or so, you guys get to what you think is a pretty good distance away from Velkenvelve. Out of the distance, out of the range of hearing all of these drums being beat and the deep horns that keep blasting, and you guys are able to find a nice little nook on the side of one of the paths, and you guys are heading to the west. And this is where your Kuatoa traveling companion Shushar, he tells you that we can go to Dark Lake. Dark Lake is a great place, and the Kuatoa, he's got like sort of I want to say sort of like I don't know if there's any official type of merman voice or anything like that, but he's got like a real gurgly undercommon, and Kara, she's the only one that can actually communicate with this guy. So you guys are listening to him, and it sounds just like a bunch of gurgle and garble going on. So sort of like the Gungans or something would sound like from Star Wars. So as you guys are speaking, Shushar, is communicating with Kara, saying, "We go to Dark Lake," and he was a little lost on where he was, but as you guys are, traveling more westerly, he notices several areas of the Underdark, so he does know where you guys are at. And I'm going to show you guys the map again. So last time you guys have this map, which is right here, but now Shushar, he's remembered where everyone is. So on this map that he's sketching out for you, he opens up a much larger area to where he says, "Ah, yes, Sloop, we go northeast." So let me open up some of this for you. Alright, so this is basically, he's drawing this on your map, basically. all of you guys would have maps of the Sword Coast. So he's drawing the Underdark in relativeness to where you guys are at under, under the lands above, that are miles above you. And he tells you that there is a Sloop north, because you guys were in Velkenvelv right here on the right hand side, and you guys are about at the end of that first hex. Now each one of these hexes, that's 24 miles, I believe, every single hex. So you have a couple days travel to Sloop if you want to go to the Dark Lake, because he's explaining to you that the Dark Lake can be a great place to travel. And there's, he's speaking to you, Kara. He's talking about the Neverlight Grove, and he's talking about Grackelstug and other, a couple other hidden exits or entrances if you're trying to get into, the Underdark. And he says it's just maybe another day and a half, maybe 2 days worth of travel. Now, you guys know that also traveling on the surface is much easier. Everything is much more flatter. There's roads everywhere, but there are roads in the Underdark also. But you have to take into consideration a lot of these roads may be 12 miles in length to get to somewhere that's 2 miles away, because you have to follow a tremendous gorge or a chasm all the way around. Or you may have to, follow 10 miles worth of tunnels that have been carved to avoid other, disturbances or creatures' lairs. So traveling in the Underdark is much more difficult than what it is on the surface.
Hey Dave, I have a Natural Explorer Underdark, which difficult terrain doesn't slow our groups travel, so I don't know if that is going to matter any.
It's probably it won't, but the pace that you travel will affect certain variables.
Gotcha.
When you're traveling quickly, you're going to get somewhere quicker, but then again you are kind of ignoring other things like your surroundings, and you could have a little bit better chance of being surprised or jumped. Or if you're out of food and you're still fast traveling, then the amount of food that you could forage, and you being a ranger, Al, you would know this, and you would probably be explaining this to the group, that the faster you're traveling, the less food you're going to find and the less water. But and that's another thing, with your food and water situation. Each day is going to take rations, and each day you're going to need to refill your water skin. So there are plenty of fungi or fungi, however you want to say it. I don't care. I'm not picky. Lots of 10-foot tall mushrooms that have gallons of water stored in it, and actually pieces of mushroom that you can eat safely. And there's a lot of poisonous mushrooms, like the drow poison you guys had been hit with. That's made from from mushrooms as well, another fungus. So there's a lot of variables in the Underdark, things that you guys are just not used to on the surface, and we're going to basically use all of those, which is going to be really good. Right. So I'm sure you guys have a little bit of time to RP this out, so if you guys want to talk about the Underdark itself, you guys feel free to, and like I said, old Schlug, he's old Shushar, he says that he can get you to Dark Lake in about a day and a half, 2 days, and it could actually be a benefit for you. And he's going on saying, yeah, great feast, as long as Chieftain, his daughter and Chieftain still get along. When I left, because that Since you've known this Kuo-toa for the last 10 days, you know that he's very passive. He doesn't fight. The Drow guards, they kind of gave him a hard time all the time. He never fought back, so he was easy pickings. And he even told you that he does not fight. So he was pretty much the most sane and the most level-headed of all of the captives. The orc Rance or Sereth, the drow that stole the other Myconid, or the twins Topsy and Turvy, the prince or Bepido or Jimjar, who you guys poisoned to get out. You guys poisoned him and then left him there. That was pretty awesome. So Shushar seems like he's the most level-minded and the most sane of everyone. So I guess that's probably why you guys brought him. Because I don't think you guys trusted Jimdar or the other guys. But yeah, he does tell you that he's telling Kara that the tribe that in Sloop, where he's from, there's sort of like a little there's sort of like a faction split, because all of the Kuo-toa there at Sloop, I'm just going to call it Sloop, especially with all this Kuo-toa stuff, I'm going to break everything down to, and it's like it's one syllable word. So, at Sloop, all of these Kuo-toa, they basically worshipped the Sea of the Mother. And the chieftain and the Kuo-toa have been serving this deity for many years. Well, his name is Ploop. All right, his name is Ploop, and he's the chief of Sloop. Now he has two children. He has a son which is named Gloog, Gloog, and he's basically the captain of all the Kuo-toa, all of the warriors there, and he also worships the Sea of the Mother. Well, he also has a daughter, and as Shushar is going into explaining his daughter, basically his daughter is suffering from some kind of craziness or some type of madness that has been taking over her the last month or so. Because when he was captured, he was basically brought there to Velkenveld the same time as you guys. So he's explaining, a month ago when he left, he wanted to leave because he couldn't stand seeing the Kuo-toa fighting with one another and hurting one another. So, he's not your typical Kuo-toa, that's for sure. He's like the opposite, because usually they're warriors and very territorial and whatnot. He is like the total opposite. And he has a daughter. Ploop has a daughter, and her name is Blop, B-L-O-P-P. It's much longer, but we're just going to call her Blop. All right, and Blop, for some reason, she started hearing the Sea of the Father start to basically speak to her, and she was having these visions. And Shushar goes into saying that Blop, which is the daughter of Ploop, wanted to have the village, change their faith to, the Sea of the Father, which is called, his name is called Li Moog Gugun. Li Moog Gugun. I mean, these are like crazy names, but we'll just call the Sea of the Father Leem, L-E-E-M. And the Sea of the Mother is called Blib, B-L-I-B, but it's Blib Dual Pool. It's crazy names, so we'll just call him Blib, B-L-I-B. And he's the Sea of, and she is the Sea of the Mother. The Sea of the Father is Leem, L-E-E-M. And the daughter wanted the whole tribe to start worshiping, the Sea of the Father. Well, Ploop, the chieftain, he's outraged by this. He does not want this to happen. But Blop, the daughter, she was starting to get a lot of support and a lot of tributes and a lot of contributions to the Sea of the Father. So now, as Shushar explains, this village of Sloop is now split into two factions. So he was not really 100% upfront saying that, there's going to be a celebration, which there could be. There could be. But he says that the Sloop is also going through some issues. And the issues are both of these, now there are two factions in Sloop, Ladop, and they are, one is worshiping the Sea of the Mother, and one is worshiping the Sea of the Father. And so there's a lot of tension inside of Sloop now. But, he does also go into telling you, Shushar, that, they do have a lot of boats. They have many skiffs and boats and rafts that you can hire the other Kuatoa, or other merchants from the Underdark, which they do trade with. They trade with the Drow, they trade with the Duergar, and they trade with the Smirfneblins. So Sloop is a pretty big tribe, and they do a lot of active trading. And they use this Dark Lake as the means of transportation to a large portion of the Underdark, which is, the Dark Lake is hundreds of miles across. And, like I said, it goes right to Gracklstug's front door, which is, Gracklstug is, that is basically the main town for, I believe it's the Duergar. Trying to read ahead because, out of the Abyss, it's not like going from chapter to chapter. You have to read, everything is like sort of like sandbox for the first half of the book, so I think I got that right. I think Gracklstug is for the Duergar. So, all right. So you guys are around a sort of a makeshift camp. You guys are kind of resting now, and you're talking with Shushar. So what do you guys want to bring up with him, and what do you guys want to talk about amongst yourselves?
Well, I'd like to know if he or anybody in his tribe knows any way up to the surface from this far down. I know they mainly live down here, but have any of them been to the surface and know maybe how we could get out of here?
He tells you that there's possibly ways up to the surface around the Dark Lake, but as for them actually knowing, no, they're forbidden to go to the surface.
I'm worried about whether we're being, if we're being followed, if there's any pursuit. You said that, I mean, we left and we heard, horns and stuff, or whatever the fighting that was going on had kind of died down back in Velkenvelve. How much time has passed since we went down this passage?
About an hour or so. About an hour or so.
And we haven't really heard anything.
And Al has found you a relatively safe place to, he's used his underground terrain knowledge to find you this little nook to where it would be safe. But yeah, you do know that there are drow parties probably hunting for you, because like I had told you, you heard the drums and the horns of escaped slaves or escaped captives. And not only it could be referring to you, it could be referring to the others, but you're obviously missing. But you do know that Ilvara, they did hunt down the others that tried to escape some week ago or so, and they caught him, and it wasn't pleasant for them when they caught him.
Well, I would definitely suggest we get going as soon as we can. If Shushar knows this is a good direction to go, then I think we should probably get moving.
Oh yeah, he's gurgling away with Kara, saying, yes, I take you to Sloop, and it be not more than almost 2 days travel. And he's just like, he's, as he's speaking, sort of like water's coming out of his mouth and whatnot. You can imagine that.
While we're traveling, I'd like to have Kira converse with Shushar about the differences between the two factions, like what they're worshiping, like the Sea of the Mother and Sea of the Father. Maybe if they're having conflict when we get there, maybe we can help them sort it out or something.
Oh, he's all for that. You know, he thinks that that would be nice. He is and he says, and you know, he looks over at Kara. That is another reason why Shuz is gone. He says, I started to worship the Father, but then the chieftain, he made it clear that I was to stay with the Mother of the Sea. And he starts to laugh a little bit, like he kind of messed up because he started, you know, following the chieftain's daughter, and he was starting to, you know, show Blop, his daughter, you know, where his faith was, and Ploop didn't like that because they saw, you know, Ploop saw Shushar sort of like one of the, you know, even though he was not your typical Kuatoa, they knew that he was very intelligent, but the chieftain probably kicked him out. You know, and Shushar isn't being 100%, you know, 100% faithful with you, but you know, because you can tell, you know, he's kind of beating around the bush a little bit with Ikera. That's you know, he's not telling you exactly why, but for what you think, it's probably because he was probably sided with the daughter, but he does bring up Ploop, and you know, changes his, you know, it seems like the chieftain changed his mind, but yet still was probably banished from Sloop for a little while, maybe to get his head clear. That's what you're thinking. And then, of course, he gets captured by the drow, and now we're at now.
Yeah. Well, Kira is more than happy to be center of attention and translating everything to everyone, and feeling very, very special that she understands what everyone else doesn't understand. So she's happy to say everything that he says to her to everyone else, and the same as the other direction.
So when you guys are around this, you know, you guys are kind of eating some rations and whatnot, because you've been very, very you're suffering almost from malnutrition. I mean, the drow didn't take care of you guys at all. So you guys are eating some rations and drinking some water. So what are the goals here? Well, I mean, what are the goals of the party? I mean, the goals are what? To get out of the Underdark, right? To survive. All right.
Avoid capture.
Oh, absolutely.
Not falling into any pits.
Not failing any passive perception checks or like.
Not sprinting through the Underdark.
So yeah, how do you guys want to travel? I mean, how do you guys want to? Basically, I need to know what your order is going to be, your marching order. Now, in the Underdark, you guys will be able to you know, put up two different types of marching orders or formations. So if you guys hit the top right hand corner of the party sheet, on the right hand side there's an order tab, and I have all your tokens there. Now, who's going to be taking point? You know, and this is basically going to be pertaining as you guys are traveling throughout the entirety of the Underdark. Who's going to be taking point? Who's going to be up in the who's going to be up front? Who's going to be in the middle? And there's two types of formations. I'd like to know who's up front for single file, and then who's up front for, you know, in wider caverns. You guys will be marching basically in two columns. You know, you guys will be walking in two columns, or in narrow corridors, single file. And then, of course, there's huge open areas where you won't need any formations, and you know, I'll let you guys basically kind of tell me where you're at.
Well, my natural explorer lets me be alert to danger even while traveling, so maybe I should be in the
Philip Friend, thank you so much,
so
man, for your support, Philip Friend. I appreciate
be
it.
alerted before
thank you so
anything
much.
surprises us.
All right, so you guys should be able to move your tokens as well. Thank you again, Philip. I appreciate it, man.
Kira doesn't really care where she stands as long as she's close to Edith, because Edith is a strong person that can protect her if something happens.
And she has a beard.
That too.
Well, then we'd both also be close to Shushar, not only so I could protect him, but so she can translate if he tells us to go a different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that Shushar would definitely be in the middle. That's for sure.
Brother Echo's going to take the back.
All right. So I'll put Shushar right here. Whoops.
Does that look good to y'all for when we're in a wider cabin where we can march technically 2 by 2?
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'll leave. I'm not going to put him in with. I just put a token up there. All right, very good. So if you guys are going single file, then I guess it would probably be Edith behind Al then, right? And then Kara probably near Brother Eco, and then Morvine and probably a Shushar in the middle.
Yeah.
Or keep Kira near Shushar, and then I could be by Brother Rico.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I kind of just want to kind of work out the logistics of you guys, because there's a lot of evil in the Underdark, and that's why I wanted to make you guys level 3. I felt that you guys would have had a much better chance of surviving in the Underdark at level 3 instead of at level 2. So, plus you guys have your archetypes now, and all of your cool little tricks and gimmicks at level 3, which is cool. And plus we'll be going milestone from here on out. Milestone experience rewards. So after X amount of time, when I think you guys are ready to go up, I'll say, all right, you guys are level 4, and then 5, 6, and so forth and so forth. All right. So you guys have your marching orders. You guys have your goals. You want to get the hell out of the Underdark. I guess you're gonna help Sloop get back. I mean, you help Shushar get the Sloop as well.
Yeah, we need to get him back first, and then if he's saying there's exits near there, then maybe we could start searching at that point.
He said the chieftain banned them from going up to the surface, but that means maybe the chieftain and the elders of the village might know the way's still up there if they banned it.
Yeah, well, it's not. They just forbid any of the Kuatoa to go to the the above world. They forbid it. It's not like they probably don't even know. All they know is the Dark Lake and its area. It's not like they ventured up into the the world above. So everything they know is the Underdark, the Dark Lake, and all that.
Yeah, but the merchants that come to the village to trade, they might might know a way up.
Yeah. It's just like Shushar was saying. They trade with the Drow, they trade with the Smirfneblins, there are the Deep Gnomes. They trade with the Duergar, the Darrow, and a lot of these, a lot of the Duergar and the Darrow, they come from Glackelstug anyway. So, or there's all kinds of areas of trade. And plus, like you said, there are not only Kuatoa there, but there are other merchants that will you'll be able to hire them, and they could take you on a boat. But then there's a lot of creatures in the depths of the Dark Lake too, and he just kind of shudders and says, "Oh, we don't go too far in. Scary creatures out there." Even though they are very good swimmers. But he says the Dark Lake is a pretty bad place once you go into the deep part of it.